Hey guys, what's going on? It's Steve with the Sales Syndicate, and on today's training, we are going to go over how to get your prospects to say no when selling coaching, consulting, or agency services or high ticket sales in order to get more customers, close more deals. Stay tuned. You're going to like this training. Let's jump into it. All right, so this training today, you guys, is on the book, Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. I recently went over it a third time. I've actually gone through this book, and I wanted to take the principles and processes that he talks about in this book, where he goes over negotiation, sales tactics, and specifically implement it and share with you guys how I implement his training inside of selling high ticket coaching, consulting, or agency services. And so what I'm going to do on this training is I'm going to break down the 4 areas in which I actually use no-oriented conversations in order to be able to close more deals. Number 1, the first question that is a no-oriented question that Chris Voss teaches is the question, are you against? So I like this question because it really gives a good pulse as to where the prospect is at mentally. It gives us a very good idea as to how close they are inside of the buying process. So once I've done a thorough job at really understanding the prospect's situation, their pain points, how long they've been actually doing it, the prospect has to have buy-in to the fact that their problems are actually solvable, because most likely they've tried a lot of different things in the past. They've tried maybe other products, other services, other coaching, consulting, or even worked with other agencies. And they're still in a state of they're not sure who is the best fit for them to go to. They have to realize that in order for you to be able to move that prospect into actually closing them, they actually have to believe that their problems are solvable, regardless of the things that they've tried before in the past. So the question I love to ask people is, are you against the idea that these specific problems are actually solvable? So what I'll do is I'll take the current situation, the problems that they're having, and I'll just say, are you against the idea that X, Y, and Z problems are actually solvable? Now, that's a no-oriented question. I want them to buy into the fact that no, these are totally solvable. It's also based off of the reaction that I get or how they actually answer from a confident standpoint. It allows me to be able to address, or if I need to ask additional questions or continue to address mindset or potential obstacles that are going to come up inside of the close. So I love that first question, are you against? And then mapping it out, making sure that they have buy-in or belief to the fact that their problems are solvable. That's how I used are you against inside of my sales process. Okay guys, so number 2 is a very powerful question as well. It is, are you opposed? So here's specifically where I like to use this inside of the sales process when I'm selling coaching, consulting, or agency services. So once I've done a thorough job at understanding exactly where they're currently at, their pain points, their problems, and I've spoken to them about what it is that they're trying to accomplish. You could call those goals, their outcome, their desired destination. I'll ask them a question, are you opposed to figuring out a solution in order to solve those problems and implement that right away? So what I'm doing is this is a soft approach, a no-oriented question, versus saying something that, are you ready to take action today on your services, or, on your problems and get to the desired destination? This is a way of basically gauging the person and getting a better idea as to exactly where they're at. So after I've gone over their goals and I have a good idea of what they want to accomplish, are you opposed to creating a game plan that can solve these problems and implementing that game plan right away? Okay. It's a very soft way. It's like, this is also me gauging whether or not, is there anything else that's going on with the prospect's mind that would prevent them from actually moving forward? So I like to use that after I go over the goal session or finding out what they're trying to accomplish either in their life or their business. It's a no-oriented question that is extremely powerful, and it doesn't come across abrasive, and they don't feel pressured. You're asking them if they're opposed to actually moving forward, which is extremely powerful. Okay, so number 3. So the third thing that I'll ask somebody is a very, very powerful question as well. And that is it a ridiculous idea to ask? Now, I'll also use this in conjunction with when I'm talking to the person about their goals and I'm about to map out how we actually solve the problems that they have as far as the service or the payoff or the offering that I'm asking. And I'll ask this question in conjunction with Are You Opposed? And then I'll say something like, would it also be a ridiculous question to ask you that if this game plan makes sense, that you could actually move forward and put that game plan into place today? So this is another very soft way of being able to like, hey, is this ridiculous? Is there anything else that's preventing you from being able to move forward? Are there financial constraints? Are there partner constraints? Are there whoever it is constraints? By asking them, hey, is it ridiculous to ask you that if the game plan that we put together makes sense, that you could actually move forward on implementing that right away? It's extremely soft. It's not aggressive. The prospect feels like they're in great hands when you ask that question. And you also have a very, very good idea as to where the prospect's head at is in order to be able to move forward and explain how your products and service actually work in regards to actually solving the problems that the prospect has. And number 4, I like to use this. This is a pretty standard, from a sales process that is pretty across the board what it looks like from what Chris teaches people. But it's incredibly powerful when you've actually pitched somebody, and let's say you've gone back and you've tried to re-pitch them by engaging, by sharing additional case studies, testimonials, results, trying to get that person back into your pipeline to close. Obviously, you should have a very, very high closing ratio if you're following a specific process. I teach the S7 sales system that allows you to be able to close a lot of one-call closes. At the same time, there are still people to this day that I feel like I should have closed that just don't end up actually closing. So there's a process in which we follow up with those people in order to get them back into the pipe and actually convert them. Now, you're just going to come across this sometimes where people completely ghost you. This is a Hail Mary. It's a last resort in order to get them, but it's incredibly powerful to get somebody re-engaged into wanting to work with you. And that question is, have you given up? And it's specific to you. So Chris teaches this concept of be direct. You are specifically talking to them, so you might as well use the word you. So he teaches this concept of, have you given up? Now, the way that I like to use this inside of the sales process is that if somebody's ghosted me and they've completely, haven't returned my calls or my text messages or my emails, I'll ask them specific to the pain problems that they were trying to solve. Okay, so I'll say something to the effect of, have you given up solving X, Y, and Z and allowing us to be able to help you? Okay, so it's a very, very powerful way. When somebody takes responsibility with the fact that they've given up on that idea, you're going to see their response rate incredibly high because they're either going to respond, yes, I've given up, and you don't need to waste your time on that prospect anymore, or no, I haven't given up, let's talk and figure this out. Okay, so it's a last ditch effort, Hail Mary. It's incredibly powerful. Now, guys, if you like the content here, do me a favor, smash the subscribe button, like it. Also, as always, feel free to leave a comment below. Happy to be able to do additional trainings on specific questions that you have. But that is how I use Chris Voss's Never Split the Difference inside of selling coaching, consultant, or agency services. Hopefully you found that valuable, and look forward to the next training coming soon. Bye.